whether it's on the nightly news or it's in Congress, you know? I mean, the objective of this enemy is to engage us in our own, you know, political spectrum, and, you know, to have the debate fall and to make the American people gun shy of future conflicts. That's what they want us to do. They want us to pull out of Iraq. They want us to not think about another front. They don't want us to talk about Africa. They don't want us to talk about Afghanistan anymore. They want us to talk about, you know, Anna Nicole. It's the truth. Maybe not Anna Nicole, but OJ, definitely.
Britney Spears, maybe.
Anybody else? Yes, ma'am.
You hear about how on the news, the people protesting saying they want to come back, bring all the soldiers back, they don't want to fight anymore and everything. What are your views on that?
I have not met one man when I was in that wanted to come back. They wanted to complete the mission. That's what Marines do. That's what soldiers do. That's what sailors do. That's what airmen do. We complete the mission. There is maybe one out of every X amount of people who don't want to be there, but those are the idiots to sign the contract, not knowing what they were getting into. When you join the military service, you swear in at MEPS, the Military Entrance Processing Station, and you swear in front of an officer on the Constitution saying you're going to uphold the values and the ideology of American government and things like that. And if you join the military and don't understand that, and when you go to boot camp and issue a rifle and you still don't understand that, something's wrong with you. And I mean, you have to understand, when you join the military, it's not, you know, you're not going to be a call center rep at Dell Computers. You're going there it's there to fight a war. That's what we're there for. And
I'm using that one.
so, you know, you're going to get a couple guys who didn't know what they were doing, but the majority, guys like me, guys like Peter, guys like David, we joined knowing full well that we may die in combat, and you know what? That's what we're there for.
I think that, yeah. It's a noisy minority that gets a lot of media attention because I think it reinforces an existing narrative that a lot of the media wants to have about soldiers and how they feel about the war. Whereas if you go to these units and talk to these guys, they want to complete it.
And not to mention, let me just say something else. The media is quick to jump on those guys and make them the mouthpiece of the military, which is wrong.
Yeah. And the other thing is, you know, what are you supposed to tell, you know, parents of fallen soldiers that, you know, this whole thing, we did our best and it just became unpopular and it's not something we can do anymore because the political polls say, I mean, look, 70% of the population was all about this, you know. We had overwhelming support in Congress, overwhelming support in the Senate. None of the intel reports came through my desk, you know. No one asked me for my vote, and I went and I fought just like these men did and like hundreds of thousands of other men and women did. And I don't know what else to tell a parent or a family member who's given their ultimate sacrifice of their son or daughter to a cause and then just say, you know what, we're just going to, that sacrifice unfortunately was in vain and that it didn't stand for anything, it didn't mean anything. Unfortunately, the soil in Iraq has been consecrated by the blood of patriotism. And we have to uphold that. Remember, you don't go to Gettysburg because it's a cool military battlefield. I mean, maybe some of you do, but the whole point of Gettysburg is that it's a place that saw sacrifice, and you go there on hallowed soil. And that's what Fallujah and Ramadi and Baghdad are to us, is they're places where we lost our best friends. And we can't just put that aside and be like, well, you know what, maybe another group of representatives next 2008 will change their mind. We can't live in that. We can't accept that.
And to go off that, there was a guy in my unit who went back the second time. His last name was Hubbard, and he died the second time in Ramadi. And then shortly after that, his brother joined the army and he died. And this is all of the same family. This family has 3 sons. They lost 2 of them. And when their first son died, they still wanted to complete the mission. When the second son died, they still wanted to complete the mission, but they had to take the third son out of theater because he was the last one alive. But that family has given 2 sons, and they still believe in the mission in Iraq. And about 99.9% of the family members that have lost people in Iraq, people who have come back missing limbs, severe brain damage, all these horrific injuries that are happening from these IEDs, they still believe in the mission. And you know, you got your Cindy Sheehans, that 0.1% that wants to protest, and that's her right because she did lose a son, so she has that right. But like I said, you know, you got guys out there that join for the right reasons, and you have a lot of family members, the majority of them, that understand the necessary fight that we are fighting out there. I mean, these are people that right now, they want to stop things like this from happening. They want to kill you and me just because we're American. And that's unsatisfactory. And I will go over there again and again if I have to, and if need be, die to protect American ideology. And Peter and David and the rest of the military force, the 2.4 million military members are willing to do that. And people need to understand that these people want to kill us. I mean, look what they did on September 11th. Look what they did at Khobar Towers. Look what they did to the coal. They don't care. So we have to care. Otherwise, it's a lost cause for America, because when we stop caring about people trying to kill us, unarmed civilians, that's a sad day in America when everyone stops caring about that. But the military is always going to care, and we'll always be there to fight no matter what.